And we are closely tracking this. Today could be a huge decision day from the Supreme Court. In just 1 hour, they are expected to release their opinions on a number of issues. One of the biggest cases that we're waiting on, Donald Trump versus the United States. Justices are considering whether and to what extent a former president enjoys presidential immunity from criminal conduct. But the key words here, official acts. You're going to hear that a lot today. The conduct in question must involve official acts during his tenure in office. Trump has argued time and time again former presidents should be immune for so-called official acts. NewsNation's Tom Dempsey joining us live from the Supreme Court. Tom, what's at stake with this Trump immunity case?
Hey, Natasha. Yeah, T-minus 1 hour until the Supreme Court will start issuing decisions. And, there's around 20 cases still left undecided. Probably the biggest one and the one getting the most attention, the one you brought up, the one revolving around former President Donald Trump and sort of the scope of presidential power. This all revolves around what's known as presidential immunity and whether or not and how much former President Donald Trump can be immune from this, alleged crimes that took place when he was in office, revolving around that alleged attempt to overturn the 2020 presidential election results. Depending on what happens today, we could see the federal election interference case dismissed. We could see the trial for that starting a little bit sooner than expected, or we could see some sort of a decision somewhere in the middle, pushing it back to lower courts, which would delay the start of that federal election interference trial from starting. On one hand in this, you have the special counsel arguing that former President Donald Trump took part in an alleged criminal scheme to try and overturn the presidential election results, and no one is above the law. That's the argument from the special counsel side. But on the other side of this, you have the legal team for former President Donald Trump saying that this was an official act as president when he was looking into alleged claims of voter fraud, and that, getting rid of presidential immunity, or really significantly lowering the scope of presidential immunity, could hamstring future presidents from making decisions because they might be afraid of being criminally prosecuted. So, again, this is arguably the most closely watched case, undecided case of the Supreme Court that we could see a decision come down on later today. And to put the importance of this case in perspective, I want to show you some of the quotes from the Supreme Court justices when oral arguments took place in late April. We have Supreme Court Justice Neil Gorsuch, who said, quote, "We are writing a rule for the ages," while Justice Brett Kavanaugh said, quote, "This case has huge implications for the presidency, for the future of the presidency, for the future of this country." So, again, a lot to watch out for with that specific case. We're expecting the Supreme Court to start issuing decisions right around 10 a.m. Eastern time here in Washington, D.C., Natasha.
Yeah, less than an hour away. And, Tom, what other cases might we get opinions on as well?
Yeah, like I said, there's around 20 cases still left undecided, and it's not just that immunity case revolving around former President Donald Trump. We could see opinions come down on a case revolving around January 6 defendants and an obstruction charge that's been applied in their cases, including against former President Donald Trump, that could impact his federal election interference case. There's also one involving homelessness in an Oregon city and whether or not a ban on homeless camps is unconstitutional and accounts to cruel and unusual punishment. There's others we're watching, too, including a state ban on abortions in Idaho and whether or not that violates a federal law requiring hospitals to provide abortions to patients in emergencies who need one. There's also some cases revolving around social media content moderation and whether that violates the First Amendment. So, again, a lot to watch out for. And, again, decisions expected to come down around 10 a.m. Eastern time, less than 1 hour from now, Natasha.
Yeah, certainly. And, Tom, what could happen after today?
Yeah, so again, there's a lot of undecided cases at this point. I think it's highly unlikely that we'll see all, around over a dozen cases come down today. So we could see opinions come down tomorrow from the Supreme Court. And again, that might not even settle all the undecided cases. We may see dates added next week for opinions to come down, and we may see dates even added to early July. So the Supreme Court still waiting to issue opinions on a number of cases, but we should get at least some of those later this morning, Natasha.
We'll be listening. Tom Dempsey bringing us the latest from the Supreme Court. Thank you so much.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.